Uh, Maybe because I know it quite well. I worked myself also as an actor before, and so I was in the same position as the main character, who is a scene partner for a casting. And I thought it's an interesting position because he's kind of part of the whole thing, but in the end, he's not part of the whole film crew and the actors who will be shooting a film together. So you can show and tell a bit about hierarchy and power plays within that milieu. And I thought it's maybe interesting to show that because the hierarchy in film crews is very strict, or how you could say.
Yeah.
You know, it's very. I mean, this director sits there, you know, when during lunchtime, and the other people, the guy who do the lighting, or the guy who does the sound, or the guy who does the camera sits somewhere else. So it's a very strict hierarchy, and I thought it's interesting to show that because I haven't seen that really in another film.
So, I mean, you are the head on the set, right? I mean, you are the director, so you give the commands.
Of course.
I mean, this is quite...
Of course, I'm the head of the. But I give a lot of freedom to my actors, and I trust them, and so we improvise the whole film. So it's. I don't know. For me, the whole film crew is more like a partner you have, no. But for allowed to give a lot of freedom, you need someone who has a plan, who knows which direction we are heading to.
Well, when do you tell people if you're just like, I mean, you said like they can act free, they can move in the space, what you said already before.
Yeah.
So when do
They
you
don't
say
have to stand
people,
like I do here now with the lightning.
when do you say to your actors, okay, you should do it like different? So when do you give directions clearly to them?
Well, usually I speak to each actor alone,
Okay.
and we talk about what will happen in the scene just before the shooting. So there's no script, no one knows what will happen.
So there's no script.
No, there's no script. I mean, I have a script, so I know maybe what could happen, or maybe what should happen. But I can react also to proposals of the actors during their play. And I go to each actor, and then I talk to them. And they don't know what the others, the plan of the others. So then they all go in one room, and then for half an hour, they can do whatever they want to.
So what's the energy like? I mean,
Well, the energy is very high because no one knows what the other guy will do. You know, so it's a challenge. It's an intellectual challenge, you know, and it's also a challenge, an emotional challenge also. So it's very interesting actually.
Did you ever work with actors that couldn't deal with your kind of working process?
No, not really, because of course, we do rehearsals before. I mean, or casting before. So we test whether we can work together, whether they like this way. And if an actor says no, without a script, I don't want to do a movie, then it's fine for me. You know,
It's clear for you that you won't cast him.
No, then I can't cast him. how shall I do it? But I think, you know, and actors also cast the director in a way. You know, it's
Definitely,
not. You know, I mean, of course, there's for some people an economic pressure, and you know, there are different things that are involved. But in the end, you know, also the actor says, I don't want to work with this director. You know, I mean, he has every right to say so, and so has the director. You know, it's for casting I meet the people alone with just one camera. You know, I have no crew. I have a casting director, but she's not there when I cast usually because I want to have a really low hierarchy. You know, and we just try different things, and there's no things you have to fulfill. You know, it's just a rehearsal, and we try stuff.
So it's all a question of energy, how you and the cast or like the actor work together and like what comes up.
Oh yeah, it's a very complex thing. That's why I thought it's interesting to show that in a movie because it's a very also emotional thing. No, you know, I do a casting, in a way, I'm also casted right now. I'm talking about my movie. People watch me. Or maybe I don't know. But it's an interesting, different. There are different layers. There's a certain where you want to show yourself. There's something else you maybe show, but you don't want to show it. Because you try to hide it. Mm-hmm. So there are different layers that are interesting, in a casting process. That's why I think all these shows in television are so successful. I mean, sometimes they're stupid, sometimes they're cynical, but there's always something interesting. You watch it, and just because the situation of someone is being casted by others is so intense in a way that there's always something interesting in it.
But this is a different way of pressure, I would say, than in your film. But anyways,
I hope so. There's no music in the film, for example. There's from the aesthetical strategies, it's totally different than all these casting shows. And they're professionals. They're all very professional actors. They're not non-professional actors.
This is a good hint. I mean, you have an amazing cast. Like, was it hard for you to find your cast? I mean, you have great actors.
Well, it was actually, I don't know whether it was easy, but I didn't have so much time to look for it because the production, we just got by chance some money, and then 2 months later we had to shoot. So I didn't have so much time. Mm-hmm. And usually I take a lot of time for my decision, because if you cannot do a good movie with a it's not about a bad actor, with not the right actor for the part. And if you choose, it's the responsibility of the director. If he chooses the not the right actor or actress for the part, then
it's going to be hard.
It's going to be a very bad movie. Actually, they're bad movies with great actors, and you say, oh, it's not so, it's okay. You can at least watch it. But there's not one good film. With very bad actors, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, true.
So that's why it's very important for me to find the right ones, just for my work.
So the film itself, casting, and your way of working is there's a lot of similarities, right? I mean, what you just described. So it's
absolutely.
It's so what's it's a very personal film, by the way. So
you think so?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I just hear the way you work, I mean, I didn't know what kind of work, what you prefer, how to work with your actors. But I mean, another question, what I was interested in, why did you choose this special movie of the iconic Die bitteren Tränen der Petra von Kant from Werner Maria Fassbinder?
This is very complex because there's so many. No, it's really hard to answer in just one sentence or two sentences or three. I mean, first there was this idea, as I mentioned before, of this scene partner, mm-hmm. and then I thought, okay, what could be interesting, and then I decided there shall be a lot of women around him, that he's the only guy, because I thought it's usually in the movie business it's the other way around, Mm-hmm. So I thought he's now in the position, he's over 40, like most of the actors or the roles in the film. So I thought it's interesting that he's kind of the only man on the set. And then I thought about Petra von Kant, because it's there are only women in the movie. And when you take a decision for that, then suddenly a lot of things pop up. For example, you can play with the gender. We have two ladies playing it. We have an older guy and an old lady playing it. We have a guy and a guy playing it. Mm-hmm. So we can have a lot of fun with that. And then you have also a story of success, because Petra von Kant is a very successful fashion designer.
Business woman, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it's interesting that our main character is not successful at all. So it's the total opposite of Petra von Kant.
Interesting. I mean, he gets bullied, by the way, by the other woman, the main actor. And it's like about his like sexual identity. What's like, I mean, I wasn't sure when I saw the movie if he's like really gay or if he's like straight. It wasn't. I mean, I didn't think too much about it. But then the ladies start to ask him like, yeah, you're so hot, you're sexy, and like, so slightly but slowly, the atmosphere changes completely. So the women are on the one side, and he's like on his own on the other side. So
well, we don't know till I think half of the movie about his sexual identity, because I don't think it's important to know.
No, it's
it's a casting. It's like we talk to each other, and I don't know whether the sound guy here is gay or not, because it doesn't matter. He makes now the sound, that's why he's here, The other thing maybe you can discuss later or find out later. And so I thought it's much more interesting that we just meet this guy, and when suddenly in the casting process it's really a subject, for the casting director, she says, okay, he can't play the part because he's gay. And then it's really interesting to talk about that because it's related to the subject of the movie, and it's still, there's a lot of prejudice and there's not a lot of actors who have their coming out and whatever. So it's especially in that field, it's still a big issue actually, and he says that he's gay, and he has a boyfriend, and he has some phone calls with a boyfriend, and that's about it, and the rest is queer and mixed up in every direction anyhow, so if you go deeper into it, that's what I think, and then you can't nail it down as the actor himself says it, and as the director loves this term, you can't nail it down.
I understand. Yeah, but it was a very interesting scene when you just like felt like it was freezing. I mean, it changed like from one point to another. So I mean, it was kind of a team play. They were building a team, and then he was like suddenly all on his own.
Because the casting director thinks it's a bad idea that he gets the part. So she says everything that is against him, and she searches for every argument, negative argument, so that he doesn't get the role, That's why it changes, And I thought it's interesting there's in Angst, Essen, Seele auf bei Fassbinder, there's this scene where he shows his muscles, And I thought it's interesting that it's a bit similar. You have all these women there, and they treat him as a sexual object, It's also interesting just to have it that way. And usually it's the other way around, You have a lot of guys sitting there, and
a few women,
and one woman, one blonde one or whatever, and they discuss it, whether she's attractive enough for the part or not. So I thought it's funny to discuss it with a guy who's over 40 already, and yeah. We improvised a lot on that, and then they said, "Oh, he looks a bit like Michael Fassbinder," I think, stuff like that. So it was actually very funny.
Yeah, I thought like you had fun on the set.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You mentioned again like Angst, Essen, Seele auf von Fassbinder. So Fassbinder is an icon for you?
No, but Fassbinder is just so. It's a very mean decision from a director to give an actor this burden or this mission that she has to do a remake of a Fassbinder movie, because it's kind of impossible to do a movie of Peter von Kant, for me it would be the complete horror if I had to do it, So I mean, on the other hand, it was good because there's a lot of remakes in the theater because it's a theater play, and also in the subculture, there are also men playing it with costumes and everything. So you're kind of free with it, There's not so much. There are already thousands of remakes on the theater, but not in the movie, So I thought it's very good for a comedy, and I think the movie is a comedy, that it's very clear to understand why she has so much problems, to cast the movie. Because it's not only that she's dreaming of a certain Petra von Kant, it's also that it's kind of impossible to do that movie. And so I can just understand her quite well.
Is it important
Could you understand?